Hey everyone, I am sitting in a new Tesla Model 3. I've been waiting for years to buy this car. Well, not this specific car, but I've been waiting for years to buy a Tesla and I just never got around to it. I was waiting for the politics to really heat up and I thought this would be a good time. Anyway, so I finally got down to picking it up today from Tesla O'Connor, which is in Perth. And no, you can't get it delivered to your house. I thought that Teslas for some reason would deliver to your house, but they don't do that unless you live 250 kilometers away from the place of pickup, which I don't. So I couldn't even pay for them to deliver it to me. So I had to drive down there, which is quite far away. Anyway, Uber down there, went to the front of the Tesla showroom, went through the door. I had my driver's license ready because everything I read on the internet, they said, bring your driver's license. They didn't ask for it. They just asked for my name. I gave them my name, literally. And then they said, okay, your car's almost ready. I'm just going to talk to the guy at the back and we'll get it ready. So I said, how long is that going to be? He said about 5 to 10 minutes. So I went around the corner, sat down, then I got up again, started making a coffee, drank like one sip, and then behind my head, the guy calls out my name and then says, your new car is ready. And he was like, this guy's name was Jordan and he was super friendly. Like he was more excited. He looked more excited than me getting the car. Anyway, so he said, your car is ready. And then, so he brings me to this car. There's an envelope at the front of it and it's got my name written on it. And I'm trying to hide my excitement. I just said, cool. And then he said, have a look around, open your app. So I looked around to make sure that there was no panel gaps because I've read over the years, watched videos about it, that there used to be lots of gaps and problems with the exterior. The car looked perfect, okay? Anyway, so then I just clicked through and then I thought, okay, is that it? So I just pressed, okay. I said, hey Jordan, it's ready. Hey Jordan, the car's great. And he said, okay, you can pretty much go in now and the car's yours, you can go. And that was a handover. It was amazing. Like I've never had that experience buying a car before. Anyway, so I sat in the car and then he just showed me a couple of things, and I've already sort of watched millions of videos about Teslas before, so I'm not going to tell you the usual stuff. Everybody has already covered most of this stuff. But what was interesting was, as I sat down, the first thing I noticed was that there was this sound and it was coming from behind my head. And weirdly enough, the lady that was just the car ahead of me, the one that just picked up her new car, had stopped the car in the middle of her driving out and said, hey Jordan, what's this sound going on behind my head? And he'd actually gone to explain it to her, but I didn't hear it. So then I felt really silly because I did exactly the same thing. I just like drove it like a meter, and then I went, I really should ask about this sound. I'm sure it's nothing, but I really need to know what it is. So then I just said, hey Jordan, what's the sound behind my head? I swear that guy must get that question every day. Anyway, so I asked him the question and then he said, aha, that's the ventilated seats. And what you can do is you can actually, this is you press this button here and then you can turn on the ventilated seats. By the way, the other cool thing, just a side note, is that normally in petrol cars, if you just like put it in idle and then you're just burning petrol, and with all the new with the new fancy cars, what they do is they tend to just turn off the air conditioning. They just let the fan going. And so you're sitting in this hot car when your car is in idle, unless you turn off the saving electricity thing, whatever it is. Whereas in the Tesla, the aircon is actually on in idle and it's not wasting the battery. I mean, it is wasting battery, but the car is battery powered. So this is like a really cool thing about electric cars. Anyway, side note. So then I drove out and it was kind of, I've done a test drive with the Tesla before, so I kind of knew what to expect, but it was still really weird with the regenerative braking. So it took me a while to get used to that. The other thing that took me a while to get used to was two things. One is that the cruise control was not available when you first drive it. So it kept saying to me, not warning, but like error. You need to give more time for the camera to calibrate. So the first like few kilometers when I was driving, I couldn't turn on the cruise control. So I had to keep like checking the speed. And as you all know, there's no speedometer. So there's nothing in front of you to tell you the speed. So you have to look at the screen. And because the screen is so massive, like I just can't get out. It's just a massive screen. It actually made like I'm a wuss in cars. I get really nauseous. It actually made me feel really dizzy. So I was getting really dizzy in the car. I have to be honest, like the whole trip I felt nauseous. Because this, I don't know how I'm going to get over this, but the screen is so big that even though I try not to like look at it, because I have to keep looking at it for the speed, I'm getting dizzy. So this is actually an issue for me, and I'm not sure how I'm going to cope with this. I'll let you know later. If I can cope with this, I better figure it out. So that's one issue for me, is that I get motion sick really easily. And in the Tesla, because the screen is so massive and it's hard not to look at it, I'm getting dizzy. Anyway, so I'm driving along, and then I can't get the cruise control to work. Eventually, after a few kilometers, I held down this button, and then it actually did work. It does that thing where you just press it. And then it started working. But the problem was, the distance was a bit too close for me, and I haven't figured out how to change the distance, but I'll look it up. But the other thing is, when the car in front of you stops and then it starts again, the Tesla goes really fast. Like, it accelerates really fast, like weirdly fast, for an automatic adaptive cruise control. So I've got a Golf, and the Golf is way gentler. I mean, probably because of the petrol engine too. But with this electric acceleration, it's like you feel like a jolt, and I had to stop. I actually just couldn't use it for those situations. I actually took over the car, the control of the car 3 times, because I couldn't trust it, because it just felt like it was just going to crash into the car in front of me. The other thing is that the lane assist is actually not that great. I didn't buy the enhanced autopilot, so the normal autopilot, it just sort of, it's a bit like the Golf one. So it kind of just steers you not into the middle, but just stops you from like veering off the side of the road, and it'll give a warning, and then it'll tell you to take over. But with the lane assist, it actually will gently pull you back a little bit. So it's not fantastic, but it's better than nothing, I guess. And so the other thing to mention is that I'm so used to using CarPlay, and I know that people say, no big deal, Tesla software is amazing. But the problem was, when I first put in my home address onto the Tesla, it actually estimated the trip to be about like 40 minutes, whereas Google Maps said like 52 minutes or something. And it looked like the Tesla map hadn't taken into account the live traffic updates. And it was only halfway through, at least halfway through the journey, that then it sort of updated the traffic. So I'm not sure whether that's just specific to my particular drive or was calibrating, I don't know. But it just wasn't accurate at the beginning, and that was a bit concerning, because if that's the only map thing that I can use, that's going to be really annoying. I actually had my phone in this spot here with Google Maps on, just in case, because I wasn't really sure and I wasn't sure of the route, so I needed the map to work properly. The map was good. Otherwise, it actually took a reasonable route, but it didn't have the traffic accurately from the beginning. Apparently, you have to pay a premium subscription, which in Australia, I think it's like $10. Is it a month? $10 a month? Better not be $10 a week, but anyway, $10 a month, I think. And that apparently gives you the live traffic updates, which is a bit disappointing, because you would expect that to be part of the kind of free. So it's just gonna never know what the traffic is, which is kind of silly for a navigation software to not know what the traffic is like in this day and age. It just seems a bit odd. So those were the sort of the strange things about the Tesla Drive. Apart from that, I think you guys have seen every other Tesla video if you're watching this one. Apart from that, the Tesla is a beautiful car, beautiful drive. Compared to the Mercedes C-Class, it's probably kind of similar with the noise and sound levels. Obviously, the engine is super quiet. It's quieter. The ride is it's not, I think it's nice. It's not too firm, it's not too soft. It's definitely it's pretty nice. So I think the actual ride is pretty nice. The steering is okay. It doesn't feel really really wafty like some other electric cars. and it felt like I was driving an actual car, which seems a bit odd to say, but I did try the Zeekr, and that particular car just, you know, because it was an SUV, it just felt like you're floating when you're driving, whereas this feels like I'm actually driving a car. And as you all know, the acceleration is amazing, which is actually pretty cool. So that's my sort of initial takes on the drive home. And no, I'm not disappointed. This car is really quite amazing. I love the software. I love the phone being connected to the car, how it remembers you. The air conditioning is great, by the way. And the only quirky thing is, I think just not having the speedometer there, for someone like me that gets nauseous, having to, you know, try to ignore this giant screen right next to your head, that's a bit of a letdown, but hopefully I can figure that out. So that's it from me today, and I'll keep you updated if there's anything else that might be useful for you guys. Thanks for watching.